Yo, what is going on, everyone? My name is Nick, or the Notorious Fantasy. In today's video, we're going to be doing a 10-team PPR mock draft from the first overall spot on Yahoo Fantasy. Inside of this video, we're going to just be talking about all of my decisions throughout the draft, as well as some oddities and just things I want to be talking about throughout the draft from other teams, because obviously if we're just talking about my team, I don't think you guys get the best understanding of how I feel throughout 2021 fantasy football drafts. The biggest takeaway from this video is not even necessarily who I am taking, but my analysis about the players throughout the video, because I talk a lot about more players than are the ones that are on my team, and I talk a lot about the decisions I'm going to be making, how I'm looking throughout the draft, maybe where I'm looking at running back, receiver, all of that. That's a lot of what you should be able to gauge from this video. So if you guys do end up enjoying at all during this video, please make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. Not only is it free, I put out content basically every single day. I understand that I missed yesterday, but that's because I've been so sunburnt. They put me on the steroids, so it's been actually really hard to want to even get up out of bed, to want to go ahead and sit over here and record, but it's starting to go away. It's starting to feel a lot better, so I will be here every single day trying to help you guys win your 2021 fantasy football championship. So I do really hope that you guys do end up enjoying this video. So we are at the number 1 spot in this draft, and to me, the number 1 overall spot this year is a lot less open than it has been or a lot more open, I would say, than it was in the past. Normally, every single year, you kind of have that one guy that goes number 1 overall in a majority of drafts, but I feel like this year, a lot of people are not necessarily seeing Christian McCaffrey as that 101 guy necessarily. I've seen a lot of people who like Dalvin Cook. Now with the addition of Julio Jones, a lot of people are talking up Derrick Henry. I mean, Saquon Barkley is still the same Saquon Barkley. Hopefully he should be after getting hurt last season. So people are even taking him first. So there's a lot of guys you can go with first overall. But personally, again, the draft's about to start in 4 seconds. I lean with Christian McCaffrey. We've seen what he has done in the past. This guy is a monster for fantasy football. He gets so many receptions, so many rushing yards, so many basically everything. He's going to get all the receiving work, all the rushing work in Carolina, and you better assume that mono man Sam Darnold is going to be able to dump the ball his way. So without a doubt, to me, Christian McCaffrey is the 101. When this guy is healthy, he is by far and away the best running back in fantasy football. Now, again, what you categorize as the best running back in the NFL and fantasy football may be a little bit different, but for me, in fantasy football, Christian McCaffrey is by far and away the best running back. This guy is a fucking beast, and unless he was to get hurt again, I see no way he doesn't finish as a top 3 running back and should be able to finish as the number 1 overall guy again. It's just so easy with how many receptions he's going to be seeing to just elevate him past all of these other running backs that are competing with him to be the number 1 overall guy. So after we went ahead and drafted Christian McCaffrey, Dalvin Cook came off the board, followed by Alvin Kamara. Now, Alvin Kamara is going to be a guy that is heavily debated because a lot of people are worried a lot about the quarterback position in New Orleans. A lot of people are saying without Drew Brees, can he get it done? Now, the question is, who will the quarterback be? In my opinion, I think it's going to be famous Jameis steal a crab, eat a W, Winston, because I think he's a much better quarterback than Taysom Hill. I think Taysom Hill is actually a pretty solid NFL player and does fit a good role in this New Orleans Saints system, but he's not the fucking quarterback. Jameis Winston is, and I think that Alvin Kamara should be fine getting dump-offs from him and is worthy of a potential top 3 selection in 2021. After that, we see Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley, Jonathan Taylor, Ezekiel Elliott, and Tyreek Hill. A lot of people right now are very worried, it seems to be, about Mr. Aaron Rodgers, and for that reason, they are fading Davante Adams right now. I'm seeing Adams likely come off the board now as like the wide receiver 3 in most sense right now. I have him ranked as the wide receiver 1, but I think that if Rodgers isn't there, Stephon Diggs would be my number 1 overall ranked wide receiver. I like Tyreek Hill as well, but I just feel like Diggs really is the guy in Buffalo. He just is the guy, whereas Tyreek Hill, he's the guy, but they also have Travis Kelce and stuff. So I just feel like Diggs really is the guy, and I think Diggs could have a really explosive year in 2021, just like he did last year. He played very well last year and completely beat out my expectations. After Diggs came Aaron Jones, Travis Kelce, and Nick Chubb. The first round, 8 out of 10 picks were running backs, which is going to basically happen in every single league. A majority running backs in the first round. The second round, you're going to see a couple more, maybe a tight end and a couple wide receivers, but you're going to see a lot of running backs backs there as well in a majority of drafts, but the third round is when all hell breaks loose, when you probably might start seeing quarterbacks come off the board. You're going to see a bunch of wide receivers because a lot of people want to go ahead and get their workhorse running backs early on in the draft. Now, in a 10-team league, it's a little more open in the third round to go ahead and get a guy that you feel like can carry your team at the running back position, but in 12, 14-team leagues, the running backs dry out really, really fast. The well is gone by the second round, and that's why you see a lot of wide receivers coming off the board. After Chubb came Devontae Adams, Cam Akers, Austin Eckler, Joe Mixon, and Antonio Gibson. That's a 4 run at the running back position there. It's interesting to see where these second-round running backs go. Guys like Akers, Eckler, Mixon, Gibson, all in a different order basically every single time in drafts, followed by A.J. Brown. A lot of people are kind of talking negatively about A.J. Brown now with Julio Jones there, but I actually still like A.J. Brown a lot. DeAndre Hopkins going pretty high as well. Looking at the running backs still available, Miles Sanders, DeAndre Swift, J.K. Dobbins, Najee Harris. I like Dobbins and Najee Harris a whole bunch in 2021. I have them ranked relatively close. Right now, off the top of my head, I think I like Najee Harris slightly more, and that's who we're to pick here, but we're going to go ahead and get both of them. We're going to get J.K. Dobbins as well, and then we're going to just start hammering onto the wide receiver position. I feel like wide receivers are so deep in fantasy football that going 3 running backs early is not necessarily crazy. Obviously, it is fucking crazy if you don't have a flex, right? If you just have 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, because that's how some leagues work, then obviously that is crazy, but a 3 running back start to me is not all that weird, especially in a 10-team league where I know a lot of these wide receivers that I really like, I could get on my team back-to-back in the 4th and 5th round. So with J.K. Dobbins, I don't know if I even talked about it, but a lot of people have been really negatively spitting energy his way, talking about how Gus Edwards is going to be very involved. Now, regardless of if Gus Edwards is involved or not, which I think he will be, it doesn't fucking matter because this team is a run-heavy team. They like to go ahead and put the pedal to the fucking metal in the rushing game, and they're going to run so heavy every single game. I understand Lamar Jackson is going to be stealing touchdowns from J.K. Dobbins. I understand Gus Edwards is going to do the same thing. J.K. Dobbins, to me, is a very solid pass-catching running back. I've seen it at college. When he was in college, I've seen it. So I think that he's going to be used more heavily in the pass-catching game this year. I think Dobbins' potential is immensely high to be one of those guys that catches more passes than you think and scores a whole bunch of touchdowns. I really do like J.K. Dobbins and this whole Baltimore Ravens rushing attack. I like Gus Edwards as well later in drafts because if something was to happen to J.K. Dobbins, Gus Edwards is going to be seeing a lion's share of carries in this backfield with Najee Harris. The guy is a rookie. The rookie hype always gets up there. People are going to be, by August, jerking themselves off under the table, cranking one off just to go ahead and get Najee Harris onto their team. The rookie hype always gets real, but at the end of the day, this Steelers offensive line does kind of suck really bad compared to what it was in the past. Where Le'Veon Bell could stand back there, juke left and right repeatedly, and then just run through a wide open hole. That's not how it is anymore, but I do think they're going to commit to the run a lot more this season with an excellent running back in Najee Harris, who has pass-catching value very well. You can see it at his tape in Alabama. After I went with J.K. Dobbins, DK Metcalf, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Michael Thomas, Calvin Ridley, Justin Jefferson, Patrick Mahomes, Mike Evans, Miles Sanders, Josh Jacobs, Josh Allen, George Kittle, Kyler Murray, Darren Waller, DeAndre Swift, and Keenan Allen. Again, after the first 2 rounds, a lot less running backs coming off the board. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 total in the 3rd and 4th round so far, and there was only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 total wide receivers taken in the first 2 rounds. So you can see how different things go in the 3rd round. Quarterbacks are going to come at a different time in every single draft. In some of your drafts, Patrick Mahomes may come off the board in the 1st round of your league. In other leagues, he'll fall into the 3rd or 4th round. Again, I've talked about this a lot in my mock drafts, but Pat Mahomes to me is a guy that I'm happy taking in the 4th round, but anywhere ahead of that is a little bit scary to me. After Keenan Allen came Julio Jones and Terry McLaurin, so the wide receiver core is still pretty open. After that was Allen Robinson. So I like Amari Cooper. I like Robert Woods. I don't like Chris Godwin, but again, in the situation we're in now, he's actually not that bad in the 4th round, but I do worry about Tampa Tampa Bay really spreading the ball out with Tom Brady like he always does, and with Antonio Brown staying healthy, it worries me. So I'm going to go with Robert Woods, Bobby Trees for the LA Rams, changing his number in 2021 to number 2. With Matthew Stafford there, I feel like this offense is going to be unreal. And with Dak Prescott healthy in Dallas, I think Amari Cooper really broke out of his shell last year. In the past, Amari Cooper was one of those guys you drafted in the 4th or 5th round and basically were completely pissed off because he was so inconsistent. One week, this guy takes his pants off and drops a massive shit onto the chest of the defense. And then the next week, he just turtles. His cock does not work. He gets erectile dysfunction and does not have Viagra to use. And he plays like shit. And then the next week, he plays bad. He plays bad. And then he goes hot again. Then he's hot. And then he's cold. And you're very, very confused. But even with a lot of weapons in this Dallas offense, Amari Cooper was still able to do it. Even without Dak Prescott healthy. Even with Gucci Danucci and all those other quarterbacks, Andy Dalton that had to play for the Dallas Cowboys, I think that Amari Cooper is going to be very solid in 2021. Proved me wrong last season. And if someone proves me wrong, I'm ready to hop on board with them because I'm not someone who holds a grudge. I like Amari Cooper a lot there in Dallas. And again, Robert Woods with Matthew Stafford, with Sean McVay. I just think that this offense is going to be firing pew pew at all cylinders. I love Bobby Trees in 2021. We're about 10 minutes in this video. If you guys have ended up enjoying thus far, please make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. Again, I would really appreciate it. Now, a lot of the videos recently have been on the topic of mock drafts. I've done a lot of running back 0, wide receiver 0, just doing mock drafts, but that's because I was recording a lot in advance for a vacation I went on. So now that I'm home, now that I'm feeling a lot better, the videos are going to go back to normal where we're just talking about the players. There's still going to be mock drafts every single week, but not as many because I understand not everyone here just wants to see 7,000 mock drafts, and that's not what I'm trying to do again. So understand that the videos are going to go a lot back to normal, and we're going to have fun time talking here every single day. So I hope you guys have been enjoying all the content and have been enjoying this video. We're almost in July, where people start really watching the fantasy shit. So you better believe I'm going to be here firing at all cylinders. And in August, once it hits August, that's when the channel goes into full blast off mode to the moon, where there's probably going to be 2-3 videos every single fucking day to just ingrain your mind, shoot your mind with knowledge, okay? So after I went with Amari Cooper, came Chris Carson, Myles Gaskin, David Montgomery, Lamar Jackson, Chris Godwin, CeeDee Lamb, Chase Edmonds, Adam Thielen, DJ Moore, Wiki, Tyler Lockett, and Kareem Hunt. Now, very interesting to see Chris Carson fall all the way into the 5th round. I know I get a lot of people who don't like Chris Carson in my comment section, which is pretty surprising because I think that Chris Carson is a relatively safe running back in Seattle. It seems like the Seattle Seahawks like to run the ball a lot, and it seems like Chris Carson is the guy. Rashad Penny, you're not that fucking guy, pal. I think I made that joke in the last video, but you really are not that guy. You will never be the running back in Seattle, no matter how many people want to get on their knees and suck this guy's cock infinitely for the last 3 years, however long Penny's been in the league. He's not that guy, pal. It is Chris Carson. I love Chris Carson. That bitch Carol Gaskin I like as well. David Montgomery, what a fall from grace, basically. Last year was a top 5 running back, I believe, in most formats. Definitely top 10 in most formats. And then Tariq Cohen's back. Nagy's going to be calling the plays. I worry a lot about David Montgomery. Again, I think he's a great running back, but I think the team is holding him down. And by the team, I mean the coaches, because I think with Justin Fields, this team's going to look a lot better. Kyle Pitts off the board, and Dak Prescott, Kenny Golladay, Mark Andrews, and Cooper Kupp, the guys I've not talked about thus far. Kyle Pitts in the 6th round, to me, a little crazy. But now we are up on the board. We already have 3 running backs, but to me, there is a no-brainer pick here, and that is Mike Davis, running back now of the Atlanta Falcons. I'm going to break him down in a couple of seconds after we make our next pick. So we don't have a tight end. A lot of tight ends have actually came off the board. We don't have a quarterback, so I'm not going to be taking a tight end just yet. I feel like that's a bit of a reach. Quarterbacks seems like a reach as well here, if I'm being honest with you. So we're going to drop back into the wide receiver well. I'm going to buy in on Deontay Johnson again. He was one of my favorite sleepers last season, if you guys were watching my content last year. I was all over Deontay Johnson. Deontay Johnson definitely struggled last season with catching the fucking ball, and even with him struggling to hold on to the ball, he was still able to play quite well in 2020. I think in 2021, he's definitely working in the offseason with catching the ball. It came out yesterday that he's been catching tennis balls, but then I responded to that tweet, and I was like, why doesn't he catch fucking footballs? Wouldn't that help more? You know, again, I'm not some type of NFL trainer. I don't know how the fuck to figure out how to catch the ball better or something, but I thought maybe that would help. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong and the tennis balls are the way to go, but I do believe in Deontay Johnson to really be able to step up in 2021 and be able to be more consistent. I like Mike Davis again not in Carolina. He was in Carolina after Christian McCaffrey ends up getting hurt. This guy's basically Christian McCaffrey light. He can do what Christian McCaffrey does, meaning he's good at both receiving the ball as well as rushing the ball. He's thick as fuck. He has those nice legs, those nice hamstrings. I believe he's going to be very good in 2021. It just, to me, seems like a steal when you're able to get a running back who's going to be the guy getting a majority of the carries in an offense in the 6th round. To me, that's kind of a no-brainer. Now, before that, Dallas Goedert. I love Dallas Goedert. I am all aboard the Dallas Goedert train. Choo-choo! I'm going to be banging the fucking drums for Dallas Goedert, but in the 6th round? Why? That doesn't make too much sense to me. Kyle Pitts in the 6th round. A little crazy as well. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I think Kyle Pitts is going to end up being like a 4th round pick. I really do. I just do. I think that people are going to love the rookie fever. They're going to get high on it. They're going to love the fact that Julio's gone. It ups Kyle Pitts' value. I've talked about this a lot, so we're not going to super dive deep into this. But again, Kyle Pitts is a guy that a lot of people are going to buy in on. After I went with Deontay Johnson came Russell Wilson, Javonte Williams, James Robinson, Raheem Mostert, Aaron Rodgers, Brandon Ayuk, Melvin Gordon, Travis Etienne, T. Higgins, and Leonard Fournette. So can I click on? No. I wanted to click on James Robinson because it came out yesterday that James Robinson is going to be the #1 guy on the depth chart, followed by Travis Etienne. Now, I think both of them are draftable in like the 6th, 7th round, right? I think they are, and they do provide some upside because if one of them was to end up getting hurt, then you get a probably top 10 running back in fantasy football. Last year, James Robinson was dominant in this backfield. Travis Etienne, very good at catching balls. So I think that if both of them are healthy, you're going to be really pissed trying to start either of them. But I think if one of them was to go down again, knock on wood, we don't hope for injuries, then it would be pretty solid. After Travis Etienne came T. Higgins, Leonard Fournette, Odell Beckham Jr., Los Angeles Rams, Tony Pollard, Washington. Noah Fant. Who's still available at running back? Let's see. Let's just dive deep in here. Damian Harris is available. Ronald Jones is available. And people are going with Tony Pollard? That's a little crazy. Now, Tony Pollard, I understand that guy. I want my handcuff. Every year, people talk up Tony Pollard as the elite handcuff. He is an elite handcuff. But Zeke, knock on wood, hasn't really been that injury prone. So Tony Pollard hasn't been getting that much use, whereas a guy like Ronald Jones, Damian Harris can really be good. Now, normally I'd jump on the wide receiver train here, but it is almost impossible not to draft Damian Harris at this pick because I think he could be a workhorse in New England. I have all these running backs on my roster. You load up on them. If an injury happens, you're not even mad. You can trade one of these guys away. Again, Damian Harris is going to be good. The defense is much improved, and he is going to be the #1 overall running back in this offense. With a better offense, I think the Patriots should be pretty solid. So Harris is, to me, a no-brainer this late in drafts. And now, a wide receiver. I would go with Claypool, but we already have 2 Pittsburgh players, and I don't want the whole fucking Pittsburgh offense on my team. So we're going to go ahead and draft Mr. Courtland Sutton, who I like a lot in 2021. Obviously got hurt last year, but was very highly regarded by me and a lot of fantasy analysts going into last season. He was so highly touted due to his very big involvement in Denver in 2019 with Emmanuel Sanders leaving. And I understand Jerry Jeudy is there, but I think Courtland Sutton is the better wide receiver based upon right now, right? Eventually, Jerry Jeudy, he was drafted so highly in the NFL draft last season that he should be very good, and I think he can be, regardless of the quarterback situation there, whether it's Horsecock Drew Lock, whether it's Teddy Bridgewater, whether it is Mr. Discount, double check, Aaron Rodgers. Frankly, I don't give a fuck. I love Courtland Sutton. I love his skill talent, or just his skill talent. This isn't a video game, but like I almost said skill tree, which would be a video game, but just his overall talent as a player. I just really like it, and I'm all aboard the train. Again, he's my wide receiver. We got Cooper, we got Woods, we got Deontay Johnson, and we got him. So again, He's a guy that hopefully can stay healthy, and if he is able to stay healthy, you're going to be very happy having drafted him this late. After we went with Courtland Sutton came Justin Tucker the fucker, his teammate Jerry Jeudy, Jamar Chase, Debo Samuel, Harrison Bucker the fucker, Ryan Tannehill, my old bitch lame, but my young ho coup, Ronald Jones, Baltimore defense, Greg the Legs Erline, Chase Claypool, Jalen Hurts, Kenyon Drake, David Johnson, Trey Sermon. Trey Sermon's a running back I really like as well, coming out of the Ohio State University. Trey Sermon is probably the running back 2 right now behind Raheem Mostert. This guy's doubling up on the San Fran backfield with Jeff Wilson out likely for 3 to 4 weeks at the beginning of the season. Really opens the door up bigly for Mr. Trey Sermon. So we are back up on the board relatively soon. We probably need to draft a tight end before it becomes too late. I think we can wait. Think we may be able to wait one more round unless these people start taking backups. I like Higbee. I like Gesicki. I like Thomas. I like Irv Smith the most out of that. Actually, I think I like Logan Thomas the most out of that group. But Logan Thomas, to me, screams like one of those guys that blew up a couple years ago, like what was his name? Gary Barnidge type, like, if you guys know what I'm talking about for the Browns, where he's like this one-hit wonder. He's amazing, and then it's like, oh, why did we draft Logan Thomas again? But I'm gonna drink the Kool-Aid. We're drafting him again. I do like Irv Smith a lot, even with all the negativity coming his way from Zimmer, talking about how he's not gonna get an increased load in targets. That just sounds like a load of fucking bullshit he is spewing out of his mouth. And we're gonna go ahead and get Matthew Stafford, quarterback of the LA Rams, onto my squad. I like Brady as well, but we're gonna go with Matthew Stafford, with that connection with Robert Woods. Now, again, I'm not necessarily someone who's looking to stack their quarterback with wide receiver, but I've just found in a lot of these drafts that Robert Woods is available in the 4th, 5th round, where I like Robert Woods. And then Matthew Stafford is available in the 10th, the 11th round, where I like taking my quarterback, and now I have a stack wide receiver and quarterback. Now, again, that's not necessarily something you need to succeed in fantasy football. It's just nice those times when he throws a touchdown to Robert Woods, you get those double points, but obviously, there's some downside with it as well. The Rams suck ass in the game. The defense really just beats the ever-living shit out of the other offense, and then the Rams are just running the ball. Then you end up a little bit sad in the pants, but I think a lot of times we're going to be seeing Stafford really light it up, and I love Woods a lot. He's going to be lighting it up as well, so I'm pretty confident in that stack there. Had I not have went with Matthew Stafford, I think Brady could have been the pick, or wait a little bit later, and maybe Burrow will be there. If not, then you're kind of in the range of hunting for a lot of high upside with maybe a guy like Daniel Jones is a super high upside pick. Not a guy that I love, not a guy that I'm confident in, but again, a high upside pick. After kind of Burrow, I'm at the point where now I have to draft 2 quarterbacks, right? Unless I play it safe. If I'm hunting for upside, I want a guy like Fitzpatrick. And then I'm going to wait, and I'm going to draft a guy like Tua, or I'm going to draft a guy like Jameis, a guy with a lot of upside that I think could definitely develop into a super strong 1-2 punch at the quarterback position. But with Stafford, I don't even feel anywhere near scared with having to draft another quarterback. I feel very confident in Matthew Stafford, so I don't feel like I have to draft another quarterback at this point in the draft, especially in a 10-team league. It's going to be very easy if Stafford was to get hurt, knock on wood, hopefully not, but if Stafford was to get hurt or on Stafford's bye week, week number 11, then I can just go ahead and cut someone else and add a new quarterback and then get rid of them, obviously, because Stafford is going to be my guy. He is that guy, pal. Trust me, he's that guy. So after Matthew Stafford came Will Fuller, Tampa Bay defense. Tampa Bay, Tom Brady, Devontae Smith, A.J. Dillon, Robbie Anderson, Tyler Higbee, Mike Gesicki, Curtis Samuel, Gus Bus Edwards, Joe, I'm in the pocket like Burrow, Tyler, yeah, Boyd, James Conner, and Brandon Cooks. I talked a lot about Brandon Cooks a couple of days ago, but this is a guy going severely underdrafted. But Nick, they don't have a quarterback. I know, but he's literally the wide receiver 1 on a team going in the 12th round. Why would you not draft that? Even if the quarterback sucks. He's literally the only wide receiver of note on that team. He is the only wide receiver of note in Houston. After Brandon Cooks came the San Francisco defense. We're just going to load up on running backs and wide receivers and head out of here. We have four running backs. Is that correct? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 running backs. We have 4 wide receivers, so we're going to get another running back, another wide receiver. A good rule of thumb is to get more running backs than wide receivers because it's much easier to any given week just go on the waiver wire and you can find a wide receiver that's going to score some points for you. But it's going to be much more difficult to find a running back later or in in the waiver wire later in the season that you can go ahead and play. Obviously, in smaller leagues like a 10-team league, an 8-team league, it's more possible. But even so, it's still kind of difficult. So we are up next. Hopefully this asshat doesn't take Michael Carter, but just because I spoke about it, he is going to take Michael Carter. After San Francisco came Jalen, and I waddled away, waddle, Will Lutz, and Devin Singletary. So we get Michael Carter. Michael Carter reached back like fucking New York Giants former wide receiver Odell Beckham Jr. made an amazing catch in mini camp, whatever the fuck they call it nowadays, yesterday. Looking very, very good. I like Michael Carter. Seems like he has a pretty well-defined role in this offense to potentially become the running back one in New York for the Jets. They actually maybe looking to get over the hump after being so bad with Adam Gase, now with head coach Saleh. I really like them a lot. Again, I hate the Jets, but I do think that Michael Carter, he is probably going to be the running back there. So we're going to snag a wide receiver with our last pick before we go with defense and kicker. Hollywood Brown, Jarvis Landry, Devontae Parker, Marvin Jones, Corey Davis, Michael Gallup, Laviska Shenault, all still available. Is Gage still available? Oh, yeah, Russell Gage, baby. Now, again, that's definitely a reach according to the app, but he is my last player on my roster before I go kicker and defense, and I just like Russell Gage a ton. Typically, I'm not someone who wants to take the same players in a lot of videos, but Russell Gage is really a guy that I am super duper high on in 2021 with Julio Jones now gone. Russell Gage is the clear wide receiver, too. He has shown a lot of talent in the past for the Atlanta Falcons, and I do think that with Julio Jones gone now, he does have big potential. I do like Marvin Jones as a very big deep shot in 2021 to potentially really be the wide receiver one in Jacksonville. Michael Gallup was a guy who looked really good in 2019. 2020 was not his year. Still has 843 yards, 5 receiving touchdowns, so he still played good, right? But just not a year compared to what he had in the past, but that's obviously because of the addition of Mr. C.D. Lamb into the offense. I still think Gallup is pretty decent, but not a guy I'm overwhelmingly targeting. Jamison Crowder could very well be Zach Wilson's guy, just like he was for mono man Sam Darnold, and this guy is a target hog. This guy is sucking in those receptions. He does it every single week, week in, week out, and it's fucking crazy because he's not even that good. I don't think he should be as good without Sam Darnold and Adam Gase, but you never know. Michael Pittman, also a guy that I like a lot now with Carson Wentz in his second year in Indianapolis. Obviously, Carson Wentz's first year, but this is Michael Pittman's second NFL season ever. So I think that Michael Pittman could really get it done considering he was a guy I really liked out of college. Antonio Brown, also a wide receiver that I like a lot deeper in drafts just because of the fact that, like I talked about earlier with Godwin, Tampa Bay Tom Brady likes to throw the ball all around. He likes to share the load. A super deep shot at wide receiver I kind of like is Mr. Perry Campbell. Looked really good early in 2020, ends up getting hurt, but maybe Perry Campbell is better than Michael Pittman. And you're getting him at such a big discount. Another super late shot would be Monsieur, where's he at? Gabe Davis. Now, he is the wide receiver 3 in Buffalo, but I do think that if something was to happen to Beasley, Gabe Davis did show a lot in 2020. At running back, the late round running back still available. It's just a complete shit show at this point in the draft, if I'm being completely honest with you, to where there is very limited upside, if I'm being honest with you. Maybe P. Ryan is actually the guy like he was last year in New York and is better than Mr. Michael Carter, who I drafted, and now I'm just going to look like an idiot because I could actually somewhat see that happening. So after we went ahead and drafted Russell Gage and Michael Carter, came Matty Ice Baby, Hollywood Brown, Rob Gronkowski, Irv Smith, Kirk Cousins. You like that? Mike Williams, Latavius Murray, Baker Mayfield, Hunter Henry, Daniel Jones, the Colts defense, Jarvis Landry, Tyler Bass, Janu Smith, and Rodrigo. You sunk my Blankenship, the New England Patriots, and Devontae Parker. So when we're looking for a defense this late in the draft, what you're going to want to do is wait on defense, obviously, but you want to find a defense playing a shitty offense week 1 or an offense that you think is going to go ahead and struggle. Now, I don't have the NFL schedule open in front of me, but I will for later mock drafts and actually tell you guys through the draft. And before your fantasy football drafts, I make a video called Defenses to Draft in 2021, and it is just me talking about week 1 those matchups, and then week 2 you cut that defense if they have a harder matchup and add a new defense. The next week we're going to draft Buffalo for now, but again, that's not necessarily the defense I would be looking to go into the season with because I don't know who they're playing week 1. But for kicker, I'm going to make a kicker rankings video. We're going to go ahead and get my guy Jason Sanders, kicker of my Miami Dolphins. This guy is automatic just like he was last season. I think we're going to see a good season out of him again. So to recap, we got our squad on the team right now. Our starting quarterback is Matthew Stafford. Our 2 starting wideouts are Robert Woods and Amari Cooper. Our running backs are CMC and Najee Harris. Our tight end is Logan Thomas. Our wide receiver / running back / tight end, aka the flex, is J.K. Dobbins. Our bench is comprised of Mike Davis, Deontay Johnson, Damian Harris, Cortland Sutton, Michael Carter, Russell Gage, Jason Sanders, and the Buffalo defense. So let me know down below if you guys did end up enjoying this. Any picks that you would have done differently. Leave the word Gage in the comment section. G-A-G-E. I think like a gauge, like an earring is actually spelled. It's like G-A-G-U-E, I think. I'm talking Gage like Russell here in the comment section. If you ended up making it this far, I appreciate it. Any players of note here? Austin Hooper, man. What the hell happened to Austin Hooper? So many people were talking up Austin Hooper last year. I told you guys to scurry away. Damn, that was a bad pick for a lot of people. Left a sour taste in a lot of people's mouth last season. After him, Jason Sanders came. The New Orleans defense, Naheem Hines, Nelson Aguilar, Henry Ruggs, Kansas City defense, Cleveland defense. Ruggs is a guy that I like, but I'm not too sure he's ever going to be good at the NFL level. I worry that he's just a fast guy. I worry about that. I just do. Move myself up top here. Just realized maybe you couldn't see the bottom down there for a lot of the video. Sheesh, that could be bad. It could be bad news bears for me, but I'll fix it for next video. Don't worry about it, sweetheart. After Ruggs came the Kansas City defense, Cleveland defense, Denver defense, and then 2 more picks, and we can skedaddle our way out of here if Mr. Jackson can hurry his goddamn, or just hurry up. He's just wasting all of our goddamn time here. 3, 2, 1, beep. He goes ahead and drafts Russell or Robbie Gould. Oh, man, guys, did you guys watch that Nets game last night? Fucking KD takes them to overtime because his foot is 50 feet long. He steps over the line. That's a 2. Could have been a 3. And then air balls the end of the game. KD, to me, still pretty good. Again, not a basketball channel. But Kevin Durant put the team on his back last night, so he is owed a lot of praise, even though people are being very negative on KD right now. So thank you guys all so much for watching. I love you guys all. Have a great rest of your guys' day. Make sure you stay safe. Happy Sunday. Tomorrow is Monday, the start of the week. We're going to have a great week. I love you guys all. Stay safe. Goodbye.